certain challenges were prevalent in Germany's unification. The first is socio-political and cultural diversity which was existing in the German states. Second thing, Austria's interference in Germans' internal matters. 3. Weak defensive strength of Germans' army. 4. Lack of national consciousness, there was no political group. And fifth, influence of different foreign powers in Germany. We have just seen above, we'll be discussing also. Now, let's very quickly see it over here. Before the unification of Germany in 1871, it was not a single nation, but it was a patchwork of 39 states under the German Confederation. Okay. Now, these states, they differed politically. For example, there were monarchies like Prussia, Bavaria versus smaller principalities. Culturally, yes, they were different. They had different dialects. They had different tradition. Economically, yes, we had seen that Prussia was industrial area, while the southern part of Germany, it was a agrarian area. I'll just show you in the map. Let's first go through the challenges. So what happens over here is that all this diversity meant that it was difficult to foster one common unity among the people. Now, Austria was very much interested in maintaining the old Habsburg dynasty because it wanted that feudalism should be maintained over there. So Austria was a dominant member of this German Confederation. Okay, it wanted to maintain hegemony over these German affairs. It has totally opposed Prussia's attempt. We have just seen that Prussia was industrialized state, right? So these attempts of Prussia at the leadership were totally opposed by Austria, and it tried to keep Germany fragmented. Okay. Apart from this, we have seen that in the Frankfurt Parliament, Austria had rejected the idea of unified Germany under a constitutional monarchy because it feared. Why? Because it wanted the old, or you can say it wanted the status quo under old Habsburg feudal dynasty. Is it clear? And Austria's rivalry with Prussia, it culminated into Austro-Prussian War. This we have already discussed above. And in this war, what happens ultimately, it is Prussia which wins and it is Austria which loses the war. And we had also seen that during this time, in the last topic where I was discussing about unification of Italy, I had also told you that it was Italy which came to help Prussia. Why? Because two major parts of Italy, two major small states of Italy were held by Austria. We had discussed it was Lombardy and it was Venetia, right? Another thing, weak defensive strength of Germans' army. Definitely understand it is under the old feudalistic order. So will Austria try that Germany should have power? Never. So most of the German states, they had small fragmented armies. So they were unable to defend against the powerful rulers. Only Prussia had a relatively strong army. If I draw a map over here of Germany, if I want to show you, oh wait, I'll show you in the map only. Okay. But it was only Prussia which had a small military tradition. And it was under the Bismarck that they reconstructed and modernized their army. In fact, during the 1848 revolutions, the German liberal nationalist forces, it had failed militarily against the Austrian troops, because definitely it is a feudalistic setup based on old dynasty, based on the 39 German confederacy who were at the total mercy of Austria. So definitely there's going to be a weak organization and lack of any central leadership. This weakness had delayed the unification of Germany until the military reforms were organized in Prussia. Is it clear? Now, see one more thing. Hypothetically, just understand that it is a map of Germany. Here, you are going to notice that this is the Rhineland. This is your Baltic Sea, right? This is your Westphalia. This is your Prussia. This is how the states were divided. The 300 states I had discussed with you, they had divided. And over here, right, over somewhere here was your Russia. So this is how whole area was divided into small 300 feudal units. Mostly it was a agricultural state. Now this is also one of the reasons there was lack of national consciousness among the people. Definitely you will not see that until the time nationality, which came later via elite driven movement. Initially we have seen the intellectual students, the middle class, they supported nationalism. Okay, the peasants and the working class, mostly they were indifferent to the concept of nationalism. And since it was a agrarian, initially agrarian economy, most of the people were peasants and they were the working class. The regional loyalty to Prussia, to Bavaria, to Saxony, it was stronger than the loyalty to the abstract idea of Germany. Right? But that means each and every state was having loyalty towards itself. Many people, they had prioritized economic security over the national politics. And then we had seen there was lack of mass mobilization until Bismarck brought his blood and iron policy of wars. He was the one who instigated the war between various nations, and we will notice over here that how Prussia enters into the war with Denmark, right? And how then again Denmark and Austria are fighting. By fighting each other, by fighting nations against each other, it was Bismarck, or it was his blood and iron policy, by hook or by crook, he tried to unify the northern part of Germany. Influence of other foreign powers. This we had already seen. The Congress of Vienna, it had deliberately kept Germany weak and it had divided so that it would not threaten the European balance of power. France, it feared a strong Germany on its eastern border, so it wanted a fragmentation. Already France was too much dealing with Britain. Apart from this, Russia and Britain also preferred a divided Germany to maintain their influence in Europe. Many German states, they maintained secret and open alliances with these power. weakening the whole concept of united Germany. Is it clear? Now,